Before we get started, we'd just like to point in the direction of our Patreon. If you go to patreon.com/hammerschat or click the link in the description below, it'll take you through to our page. Thank you to everybody who's joined us so far. We're just a few off reaching goal number 1. Anyway, with all that said and done, let's crack on with the show. Good evening, everyone, and good evening to yourself, Gonzo. How are you?
I'm all right, my friend. Not bad at all. Thank you very much. Yeah. Full up. I just wolfed down my dinner. I'm full up. I'm ready to go. Yeah, almost a full cup. I've drunk half my cup of tea already, actually.
Before we start, I just want to say happy birthday.
Thank you very much, kind sir. Thank you very much. That's why I'm full up. Not just dinner, cake as well. You have to understand.
Big 5-0.
Oh, lovely.
Now you've got to deny it.
Sorry, I've got to deny it.
Yeah,
I might just let it ride. You know what I mean? Let people think what they want. Whatever happens, I just won't read the comments from this video.
Nah, you're waiting for the comments that says he doesn't look 50. He's looking all right for 50.
Yeah. Good.
Anyway,
yeah,
a few things to talk about. It's a bit of a random show because transfer rumours are gone now. I've been used to talking about transfer rumours all this time, but that's disappeared. But there's still quite a bit of news at West Ham. It's never dull. Is there anywhere in particular you want to start? Anywhere?
You crack on, mate. You crack on. I'm sure you got a list of a million things.
Well, let's start with positivity. There's some positivity. Kevin Nolan coming back, strongly rumoured to be coming back as a coach, joining the backroom staff, and it could be announced tomorrow. It's believed that Kevin Nolan's going to be joining David Moyes' setup. That's good. That's positivity, right? I'm assuming you'll like it. I'm assuming you're going to like this news, that is.
I like that news. Yeah. What is not to like about that? He's dipped his toe in the managerial water, so to speak. Some people, I don't know. I'm not going to say he's not cut out to be a manager. I wouldn't say that at all. All I would say is I don't know enough about what happens. But what I would say is that he's got the credentials to be a manager. He carries himself well. He's authoritative, and I just like his demeanour. I like the way about him. Clearly, it was at the previous stadium. I was going to say he's been at West Ham before, but probably quite a lot's changed. I'm not even sure he's been at the current training ground. So maybe an awful lot's changed at West Ham. But I think having been our captain, I think he probably would understand the mood of the fans, understands what the fans want to see. And I think he's got a big personality as well. And obviously, because he's been captain, I think he was captain of Bolton Wanderers possibly at 19 years of age or something like that. It's another character and the sort of character we need. And regardless of whether his managerial experience was a successful one or not, it still is some form of managerial experience. And for very recently, I've really been worried about Alan Irvine and only David Moyes, with just those two running a whole squad of players and running training drills and that sort of thing. In fact, that was going to be the nature of my video tomorrow, but I'm pleased that it won't be. Actually, I would rather Kevin Nolan come in and it not be an area of concern.
Yeah, and I think his managerial career started off well at Notts County. He kept them up, and it was going really good guns, and it sort of fell off a cliff. It sort of dwindled out a little bit. It happens, but even if he doesn't cut as a manager, it doesn't mean you're not a good coach. A lot of coaches are really good. They just can't make the step up. But there's also, I'd imagine, there's a lot of managers as well wouldn't be good coaches, if that makes sense. Your skills are different. Your characters are different. I'm really excited by this one, actually, because he knows West Ham a little bit, and it's not the same as Stuart Pearce or Julian Dix, I think, because, well, maybe it's more a bit about Dix and Pearce. Actually, similarities between all three, I suppose. In terms of the leadership and stuff, I think Nolan's been the best captain we've had in my lifetime, to be honest with you. I think we've never really replaced him. I think Mark Noble's a good West Ham player, but I've spoken to you before. I think sort of questioning his lack of leadership in recent weeks, if you like, maybe on the player rating videos, but yeah, I think this is good. I think this is a fantastic move. He was on TalkSport yesterday speaking very well about West Ham's issues, if you like. He defended the board a little bit, but then he would have known that this job offer was on in the back. It would have been happening already, wouldn't it? So he would have very much been playing it safe, but I'm trying to appeal to the board, but also trying to appeal to the West Ham fans listening in. And if that was his job, I'd say he's done it very well, because I think he has appealed to the fans, and he's kept on the good side of the board there. So this is good news. This is a bit of a lift, and hopefully, he won't accept. I just wish he was in the dressing room for Saturday after going out 3-1 and then going in 3-3. He would have let rip in the changing room. I think he's got a bit of an aggressive snarl about him. He knows how to control a dressing room. Will he tread on Noble's toes? Maybe. I don't know. Can he step away from the dressing room banter and if you want, maybe that's why he struggled as a manager. I don't know. I'm just guessing. Maybe he might have struggled to fully step away from the whole captain thing, and being the coach to bridge between the two is maybe exactly what we need right now. So yeah, Kevin Nolan. Tick tick. Where else do we start? There's a meeting between the fans and the board. Did you see that?
Yeah.
On the official website tonight, West Ham put up an article saying that at the end of the month, just a few days before the Southampton game, convenient date, that the chairman will be in attendance with, I suppose it's a fans forum, if you like, at Rush Green with the OSB, and Hammers United and Worcester have both been invited. Now, at the time of recording, just after 8:30 on Wednesday evening, I have not seen a response from Hammers United or Worcester as yet, but I'd imagine there'll be a statement which comes out, and I imagine both of them will be singing from the same hymn sheet as they have been over the last few weeks. What do you make of this then? You didn't sound very happy about it.
Well, I just think it's a complete and utter token gesture. I think by the way, inviting Hammers United and Worcester being the token gesture, by the way, I wouldn't be at all surprised if the invites went out very, very shortly after, very shortly before the announcement was made. So, wonder how much time was allowed, wonder how much involvement. I'm pretty sure the OSB were heavily involved in the construction of this meeting, in the planning of this meeting. I wonder how much of it is actually inviting Hammers United and Worcester along to actually put something across constructively, or is it just a box ticking exercise to say, well, hey, we invited them. I would suggest it's possibly the latter. I think it's indicative of the way that the whole club is run, and in that I mean it's reactive, it's reactionary, rather than put together with any foresight. Geo, I am absolutely delighted to see Hammers United and to see Worcester combining together. For too long, we have been a fragmented fan base, and in particular, this, how many times I've said this on this very show, nothing turns me off like all this political OSB, SAB, Worcester, this, that and the other. There are so many, and it's a little bit Judean People's Front for my liking. I don't like it. I switch off, and I just think the only way, as I've always said, we get any power is if everybody comes together. There can't be these factions. I don't think the OSB is fit for purpose. I laugh at the fact that how can you have that? What basically, whoever the main governing body is, or the main supporters group for West Ham fans, they decide who goes and sits in front of Gold, Brady and Sullivan. They decide the agenda. They dictate who takes down the minutes and all the rest of it. Unfortunately, you've got the tail wagging a dog in this instance, because this is a supporters group, and I would say that obviously Worcester and Hammers United are the accredited ones. They're the ones that are accredited. I can't even think. There's a governing body for Premier League fan supporters groups.
FSA,
they're the accredited
Football Supporters Association.
There it is, right there. I'm the cynic in me wonders if they just want to invite them so as they get the rejection, and then they can turn around and say, hey, we invited them. But that OSB needs to be disbanded, and really a growing group in terms of Hammers United and Worcester, our friend John was chairman of for quite some time, have come together. That's a lot of people. That's a lot of West Ham fans. They really should be recognised as more than a token one seat around a table of many. I don't like it really, mate, to be honest.
I just don't see the point of it really. What are they hoping to get out of it? The club, this is. What are the club hoping to get out of this? What are they hoping to achieve? Is it honest feedback? Well, you don't need to have a meeting for that. honest feedback's been there from day one. You've ignored it up till now, so why are you going to change? So what else are you wanting to do? The only thing they're wanting to do is calm the protest down prior to the Southampton game on 29th of January. That's what they're planning on doing, because this is, I should have wrote the date down, is it the 26th or something? It's a handful of days before we play Southampton at home when there is a protest arranged. So that's what they've got that date in there for, to try and appease fans a little bit. But I don't think there's anything they can say in the meeting that's going to make people make Hamish United and Worcester walk out there and go, you know what, let's call the protest off. It's just not going to happen. And it's too late now, because Hamish United last night put up a statement on their website saying we're not going to ballot our members about what they want to do going forward, because they've got to the point where they feel like they are essentially pushing water uphill a little bit, speaking to a brick wall. So it's a case of, do you want to change our goal from sort of dialogue to let's force them out a little bit, and they're balloting their members. The club have now missed the boat a little bit, because Hamish United have to, and I fully believe they will follow through with this offer to their members and say, what do you want? And I'm quite confident what the answer is going to be, and it's not going to be what the club want. I think it's going to be what, well, the majority of Hamish United want, which is no, enough of this dialogue stuff. There's a reason people are buying a load of t-shirts or whatever that says GSB out on it, and that's because that's what they want. That's their end goal, and they've gone too far. It's too far. And I mean, this meeting's not for another 3 weeks yet. There's a lot of own goals for the club to make between now and then, because they're managing perfectly fine the last week. I don't know. I've seen it come out. I've seen it on social media actually, and it's not been very well received on there either. And I actually feel sorry for the people on the OSB in this instance, because they're going to have to attend, and it's not going to be very well received from the general supporters if you are on the OSB and you go, because people straight away are going to say, why have you gone? Well, we kind of have to. I'm on the OSB, but I'm glad I'm not on the OSB. That's all I'm going to say.
Well, that OSB, you know, we've got people that reply to these videos that are on the OSB, and they're very keen to put their case forward, that they're vociferous, and they ask important and pertinent questions when they're at these meetings, Geo. And I have no reason to disbelieve that at all. I am sure that there are many good people on the OSB, but the power doesn't lie with them, and that inherently, the fact that the club choose who goes on it, the fact that the club have the power, the fact that the club decide what goes and what doesn't, I think is inherently the problem with it. I would love those good people on the OSB to. I've been singing this hymn sheet for a long time, Gio. I want everyone to come together. I do not want these factions. I do not want splinter groups and all this sort of thing. I want everyone to come together. I'd love people on that OSB to almost resign their position and then go and join Worcester, join Hammers United. And I know that sounds divisive, but if they're together, then why not? If all the registrations have already been done for both, and they're pooling the resources and they're acting as one, then why shouldn't they? Because I've said it for a long time. Together we're stronger. Sound like a political manifesto, doesn't it? But I know there's good people on there, but I just do feel as well that once you get, and there's no way to say this nicely. I'm not even going to try and pick and choose my words, but I just have to say I don't mean it for everyone. I know there's good people under there, but I just do also think it's human nature. You and I have been to these meetings with Karen Brady before, and you get there and there's refreshments there, and you know, and all the rest of it. You get schmoozed and you think, oh, hello, I'm quite important. And I think there's just a certain human nature, and then maybe ego takes over and all the rest of it. And I think then it becomes quite comfortable. And I wonder how hard it is then to give up. You know, if once you're in and you're in this position of importance, and you've got your cup of coffee and your biscuits and your refreshments, and you sat there and you feel important and you're trying to put these questions across. If it then comes the point where one of your questions isn't well received, are you then starting to worry, oh, I might not be invited back next time because my question was a little bit close to the mark? Well, actually, I want to be invited back next time. And that's the problem when the club run the show. Somebody else has to run. You have to be able to go in there and be able to ask, not nasty questions. I think you should always be polite, Gio. You know that. But straight to the point questions. and where you want, and what you get is a politician's answer that you can turn around and say, no, I'm not accepting that as an answer. You're being manipulative with the words, and what I want is a straight answer to the question that I just asked. I just wonder how these people that are regulars on that OSB are when that happens. I guess we'll never know, and I guess there'll be some on there who do that, and some that would feel that isn't the case. But there'll also be some for whom what I suggested applies.
Yeah, I think there will be some who are there which had the mindset of when we initially went, which was, I want to go and help. I want to try and make things better for the majority and whatnot. And there will be people going in there with damn good intentions. There's people that have left the OSB since it was formed. It doesn't get very well published. Why would they announce that people from the OSB have stepping down? But the fact that there have been people step down, which suggests that some have gone in there and felt, this is a waste of time for whatever reason, and they've given it up as well. But anyway, the Hammers United statement, you read that. What do you make of that?
Yeah, I liked it. I liked it. They've had, the club, have had a terrible few weeks. I think they've almost done everything that they can to align people.
They've done Hammers United's PR for them.
100%, and it's been non-stop, and it's been relentless. I said in my video today, there was so much stuff. I could have chosen anything to go on. I mean, to do what they did, particularly with the press, it's amazing. They've gone from being absolutely, schmoozed. You talk about schmooze. You had Moose giving David Gold a cuddle in an interview, and they look like they've gone from the media being their best buddies, and the media almost misreporting the amount of people that were on the first protest. They've gone from having that level of kinship and closeness with the media to completely ostracising them, to the point where the media are now writing derogatory articles almost hourly about them. They've put a target on their back. In life, you need allies, Geo. You can't be unpopular with everyone. They seem to have put themselves into that position. I think you might have been able to manage that. You might be able to afford a certain level of arrogance if you're winning, if things are going well. But what you can't be is like that, is painting yourself into a corner, sat in your glass house throwing stones when you're in the relegation zone, and that's what's going on here. I think so the statement, I couldn't argue with a single thing in the statement. I think it was bang on, and I also thought that the way they made it concise. You remember this from before. You remember when all that real West Ham fan stuff was going around, and then it came to an end, and they turned around and said, "Oh yeah, our 3 points were met, or our 5 points." And we were saying on this very show, the points were weak. They were diluted. They were silly. Because it's easy to it's so hard to quantify. Oh, well, we'll make the stadium more West Ham. We'll do the memorial garden up a bit, and we'll do all this. That's easy to do. Actually, what you want to do is make the message very, very, very clear. Which is, for me, as you know, it's always been, get those seats and move them right up close, all the way around, sort it after we build the stadium. At that point, I might do it. And the message for this is clear. It's basically, we want Gold, Sullivan and Brady out.
It don't get
any clearer than that.
As long as the members vote in that favour.
Of course. And that's the right way of doing it as well.
That's what I like about it. The fact that they've said, hang on a minute, we are now going to put something to the members. And they've held the members off a long time as well. The members of Hammers United have wanted this for a long time. They've held them off, said, hang on, we've got to do things right, we've got to do things proper. And they've gone about it, and they've got to the breaking point, essentially, and said, right, what do you just want to do now? And I'm quite confident. I think we know what the answer is going to be, and it's not going to be what the club want, unfortunately. You spoke about something there I was going to pick up on, but I can't remember what it was now. But we'll fly through a couple of things, because another big talk. Oh, the seats. You mentioned the seats moving behind the goal.
Oh, yeah,
that came out yesterday. It is news, though. I know a lot of people have said, it must be a season ticket renewal time, but because of the way the contracts work or whatever, I think you've got to announce it that the contract's up for grabs, because it's like it's like a government-owned stadium or whatever, so that you've got to announce the contracts there, and then people can bid for it or whatever. So it's news. £11 million they're spending on it to get the two stands behind the goals. Changed. Let's not use the words moved, because Some are moving, but whether they're moving closer is up for debate. But they're getting straightened off anyway.
It's just it's going to be a slight optical illusion. There'll be a few fans that get moved closer forward. I just think if you're going to do it and you're doing it for the right reasons, if you're going to move the stand off and move it close to the pitch, move it a metre away from the pitch. Do you know what I mean? Just move it right up there. What? So there might be a big gap between stands. Well, you know what? There's a massive gap between stands anyway. You know what I mean? It's like what's that thing around that? Whatever, I can't remember what it's called now. Gravity Force next to me. It's a trampoline park for kids. It already looks like that around the stadium anyway. Crikey, you know what I mean? Might as well make it.
I think it's the roof. I think they're blaming the roof.
Well, yeah, but of course, but without being funny, if they're going to move a bunch of people, and so they get wet. Then why not give them the choice? Just say, do you know what, we might move all. You know, you're going to get wet. We're going to charge you half price for your season ticket or something like that. Again, it's admitting that you've made a mistake. What that is about, as I'm sure you know, and you're just asking a rhetorical question, it's about them saving money because actually, where the stands really need to be squared off are along the touchlines, and not behind the goals. Or in the east and the west stand, or whatever they might be called. I don't know. You know, the one behind the dugout and the one opposite. Yeah. Exactly. Those are the ones that need to be straightened up because that is where, as I say, you could drive the 283 bus through. You know, it's absolutely ridiculous, and that's what they need to do. They're not. They're doing it behind because it's going to save them money. And here's the thing: it's going to save them money because it's the stadium doing it because they're having huge costs of moving the seats back and forth between the summer and between the winter, because of course football's a winter sport. The problem is here, what they're doing is by reconfiguring it's going to spend 11 million and they're going to save 1 million a year. Honestly, Geo, it is like putting a sticking plaster on someone that's had his leg chopped off. I mean, it's ridiculous. They're losing 20 million quid a year at that stadium, you know, and they're going to save another million. You know, look after the pennies and the pounds, take care of themselves. Absolutely, but honestly, the more I hear, the more ridiculous the whole thing sounds. I just think it's silly.
It doesn't really affect us, does it? We don't sit in those seats. So it's the people behind the goal that should really be giving their opinion on this. But I don't think it moves the seats any closer. I think it might look a bit nicer, I guess. It might be more cosmetically pleasing. That's all it'll be. You know, for the roof, for people getting wet, people get wet anyway. A little bit of wind in the rain drifts into the front rows anyway. So I don't know. It's nothing. The problem is they still need fixed again in future. You can square them off, but at some point if people will still say, but hang on, we want them closer next, please. So that you're only doing half the job really, which is a bit frustrating. Other bits and pieces, what have we got here? Nathan Holland's goal last night.
Oh, delighted for him.
That was a bit of a banger.
Absolutely delighted for him, mate. I mean, really good.
Did you watch the game?
I watched some of it, actually, to be fair. I did watch some of it. I had it on while I was doing other things. But I was looking up. He missed quite a good chance earlier on from that. I mean, you saw him grow into the game, and and by the end of it, but since they went on to extra time and were very unlucky not to go into penalties, he was really growing to the game. He was linking up with the fullback and the inside left midfielder as well, because he was playing on the left side of midfield. Took his goal well, could have scored another, and just generally looked menacing. He looked. Do you know what he looked like, Joe? He looked like Nathan Holland. He looked like Nathan Holland has looked like for the past 3 or 4 years. That's how he plays. Anyone's seen him play for the under-23s, that's exactly how Nathan Holland plays. And I was really, really, really pleased for him. Really pleased.
Yeah, I was a really good finish. I thought he played quite well as well. And it's against Premier League opponent as well. You have to consider the context of this. And we weren't watching a League One game. We were watching an FA Cup tie up against a Premier League opposition, with a Premier League right back, a Premier League right centre back. I mean, directly he was up against Shar, who is regarded as one of the better centre backs outside the Sky Sports top 6. But I thought he had a really good game, and that volley was superb, to be honest with you. Pellegrini, did you see his little thing earlier? He was stitched up a bit. Sky Sports says Pellegrini blames Roberto, but when you read it, he doesn't really. He sort of says that Roberto cost him some points, but the performances weren't good enough, the results weren't good enough, and he was disappointed to it was the first time he's been sacked halfway through the season. Essentially, he's always been able to see the season out at every other club. So this is the first time halfway through. It's away you go.
Yeah, I having said that, if for some reason Manuel Pellegrini had sent in a your shout to Hammer's chat, right, and he'd said he'd done that interview in a your shout, I think I would have gone with that thumbnail. Roberto's crap and cost me my job. I think that would have been the clickbait, so I don't blame him for doing that. Yeah, I saw it. It was a nothing. But he never says anything, though, really, does he? Let's be fair. So hopefully he's having a nice break.
We'll take some questions in a second. In the live chat, get them in. We've got some on Twitter. Gonzo, anything else you'd like to touch on before we move on?
No, I don't think so, Matt. I bet there's a million questions, isn't there?
Well, there will be in a second. So the last thing I want to talk about, Cam Robson being banned. Flag bearer.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's just another own goal. I'm not talking about this. That's one the defence can't score. I just, when it happens,
yeah.
The moment it happens, you sent me a picture, didn't you?
Yeah.
You sent me a picture straight to my phone on the day it happened, and you saw it a couple of times on social media and this, that, and the other, and you laughed at his, you laughed at his cheek, but cheeky chap, but you think fair play, mate. You know what I mean? It was funny, but it wasn't a big story. There was nothing big about it at all. Now it's a big story. now he was on TalkSport this morning. The transcript from TalkSport is now being copied and written up on various websites, and it's now a big story. And they now look pathetic. And the trouble is, what it does, it feeds into the bigger picture. And the bigger picture is quite clearly that the club are trying to manipulate all the news. It's great. It's a bit like the Stasi, in East Germany, for goodness sake. It's just building up this level of propaganda. It's almost like, for those that remember, it's like Comical Alley, when Iraq was being invaded, and he was sat there in Baghdad saying, "No, we're perfectly safe. We've repelled the U.S. forces." And as he was saying it behind him, all the tanks were rolling in, all the U.S. tanks, the army was rolling into Baghdad. It's got that Comical Alley feel about it, because when you start to you watch and you see that there are a couple of thousand people at the first protest, you look at the figures, you think, well, they've been massaged a bit, It wasn't 400. What are you talking about? When you start looking at this forced apology on the Sunday supplement, which half of it didn't even address the points that were made, by the way, by I've forgotten a chap's name now. Law, his surname, wasn't it?
Matt Law, yeah.
Matt Law. When you see that and you think, well, hold on a second, the figures for the march, the protests getting manipulated. Now they're manipulating the news, they're manipulating the press and what we want to hear and what we should be able to hear. And then you look at that and you think, well, now they're sort of manipulating what people should wear. We already know from going in and out of the ground that certain flags are banned and suspended. That's a lot of the time. That's why the searches are there. I think it just gets to the point where there's a level of manipulation, a level of spin, and you can't turn this thing into a good news story, Gio. As I always say, it's been a 10-year plan, a stadium move. It's failed. It has not yielded what it was supposed to yield, and we find ourselves in the relegation zone. We find ourselves lower down than we were when they took over. And it doesn't matter if you ban someone's T-shirts, all right? It doesn't matter if you pretend that the numbers aren't as great as they actually are. It doesn't matter if you try and pretend you did, or not pretend, or whatever. If you justify what lovely stands you made at Birmingham City Stadium, it doesn't matter. The facts remain the same. We are going backwards and have been for quite some time.
I think they banned him out of embarrassment, because he went in there as a volunteer. To give this context, flag bearers around the ground are volunteers. They don't get paid. So he applied to volunteer. He applied under a fake name as well. So he then got in and he went through the searches. You can't just walk in that ground. You think it's bad being a fan trying to get in. It's double for the staff, as you'd expect, trying to get in down below and through the tent bit. They get double searches. So he got searched thoroughly, and they never noticed his t-shirt. So in he went, on zip come down, t-shirt come out, and I think they banned him because they were embarrassed that he was able to do all this. He was able to just not cheat the system, but he did it on their doorstep. He did a one-man showcase on their doorstep, and I think that's what's embarrassed them even more. But to ban him, I think, is just harsh. I think I'm not surprised. When I seen it, I thought he's going to get banned for that, because there's no way they're just going to take that on the chin. But I think they should have. I think they should have just rang him up and said, "Look, mate, what you've done there, it's not cool. Like, you're not obviously not doing this again and stuff. But just cut it out," kind of thing. I think that would have been enough. Laugh it off, okay? You almost need to be able to just laugh at it. But the fact that they banned him, he was in the Sun, he was on Talk Sport. I've seen loads of people purchasing that exact t-shirt in the last 24 to 48 hours, okay? So there's going to be thousands there. At the next home game, there's going to be thousands of people wearing that. And they're just embarrassed. That's all they are. And I think they should have just let it lie, just ignored it, but they couldn't. So they had to, well, in their eyes, make an example.
And the funny and ridiculous thing is, Gio, we live in dangerous times. There are very, very clear things that those security searches need to be searching for. For us to remain safe. What we don't need is the stewards who are clearly up against it because those queues are so big. They already got too much to do. The last thing we need them doing is checking the writing on people's t-shirts. They need to be checking if anyone's got anything dangerous on them, and it's as simple as that, really. His
letter is what annoyed me more, actually, because the reason for banning was inciting. You could have incited the crowd or whatever it called him. The thing is, I actually think David Sullivan being present in the ground is more at risk of doing that to the crowd than his t-shirt. So I actually think a Liverpool fan sitting in the home end with a Liverpool scarf around his neck is more likely to incite the crowd than someone with that t-shirt on. So I just, through their own rule of thumb here in their rules, I think you should be having the word with David Sullivan and David Golden, saying, "Hang on a minute, you guys being present here could kick something off a little bit. You're going to have to stay in your box, please, thank you, for the rest of the game," because that is more likely to cause a scene than Cam or anyone else wearing that particular t-shirt. There's far more things at London Stadium. So,
well, it also
bollocks.
It is right. It also, for that to be true, it would mean somebody would have to go to the game, see that bloke in a t-shirt, and think, "Oh, GSB. Do you know what? I hadn't thought of that before. Actually, yes, I do want them out. They're doing a terrible job." It is a preposterous suggestion.
I think everybody was at the Liverpool game. I mean, technically, you're a witness to this. If you're at the Liverpool game, you're now a witness. Then you should email the club and say, "As a witness, I would like to confirm that t-shirt did not bother me in the slightest. I was not offended. I was not angry whatsoever. However, David Sullivan being present, that angered me a little bit." So yeah, if you want to play ball, but the thing is, all they've done is just unite fans more. More people are going to be wearing that t-shirt. More people. There's more people supporting Cam Robson right now than there is supporting the board. And it's not a good thing to do. I think they almost need to keep a low profile. When I say they, I don't mean the board. I mean the club. The club just need to keep a low profile. Watch what you put out on the media channels. The 5 reasons to tune into West Ham versus Liverpool, stuff like that. It's just not clever. It's really not clever. You need to just tone it down a little bit, keep a low profile. You're going to have to allow fans to vent their frustrations through whatever means they wish to. This was Cam's way of doing it. Someone else will have a different way, someone else will have a different way, whether it's protesting, whether it's posts on social media and stuff. And we're in danger of it being turned into a dictatorship a little bit at West Ham at present. And it's not a pleasant thing. It's not a good thing at all. Anyway, we'll take some questions. There's one more rumour I want to talk about. I'll write it down so I don't forget, but I'll make sure I allocate the last 5 or 10 minutes of the video to that topic. So are you ready for some questions?
Yes, please.
David Beals, how many points to stay up?
How many have we got now? 23.
Yeah.
Do you want to know something? I haven't looked at the league.
Okay.
Since the last game. Somebody said we were in 18th and not looked. Why would I? I guess. So I don't know. Strange league, strange season. I don't think 36 is going to keep you safe, by the way. I don't think it's going to be a 41. 39 points keeps you up.
I think 38 might do it. I think 38, because I was doing that prediction league thing I was telling you about to do for the other video.
Yeah, I'll do it. I will do it.
When I was doing that, I noticed that 38, 39 was roughly. But the thing is, it's so tight. I think goal defence will play a part this year. Do you know something? I think someone's going to get. I think 18th place is going down on goal defence this year. I do. I don't know why. I've just got this feeling. It's far too tight at the bottom. Everyone's nicking points off of everyone.
Apart from us.
You can't. We have though. We've done it. We did it to Chelsea. We've done it to Southampton away, which in hindsight looks like a fantastic result. And I've got a feeling. Well, we will nick points between now and the end of the season. The question is, can you win the games you're supposed to win? And if you do, you'll be all right. That's the issue here. We'll take questions from the live chat in a minute. Give me 5 minutes to whistle through some of the Twitter ones. Ryan Inskip. Ryan says, is there any part of relegation that you guys see as a positive? He's given some suggestions, which are less tourist fans, less half and half scars, different away days, more games, hungrier players, which is debatable, and actually winning more football matches.
No, but he's reminded me to upload Peter's video, which is about the positives that we could get from relegation. I know there's some people think that there are some. So I think that stadium kills all of that. It's not something I ever feared. Upton Park, I've seen it many times. I actually like. Do you know what? I like going to games and winning and all of that stuff. There are lots of things. I think the stadium changes the dynamic, for reasons that I have mentioned numerous times on this channel before.
I don't think any perceived positives are a given either. You can take some there, different away days. That's true, but I speak for the majority here because only 2,000 go. But and that is that I don't attend many away games, so I can't look forward to that. Gonzo can look forward to some, but that's it. But most people don't do many. So you take that away, then you've got hungrier players. Well, I don't know, because we're going to be stuck with half of them, because only half are going to be desirable to other teams. So we're going to be stuck with half the ones that took us down. And with the greatest of respect, with the current manager we've got, I'm not sure we'll be seeing better football either. So, any positives? Not really. I can't think of any, to be honest. We might get to see Dean Gannon or Holland or something, but I'd like to see them, even if we stayed up, I'd like to see them next season anyway. Rudy Hammers fans, Alan, he says, considering in the last decade we've seen a change of ownership, location, badge, stadium, players, division, and so much more, what is it that we supporters actually support? With so many changes, can you see a situation where some fans actually move their support to other clubs?
No, I don't think you go and support another club. It's just not for any, not just a West Ham fan, for any football fan. It's too ingrained. You've got too much emotional investment of following throughout the years. It would just seems like a betrayal to do that. I think what you do is maybe you just go and do something else. Maybe you go and watch that cricket team that's down your local park. Maybe you just sort of fall in love with grassroots sport. Maybe you just go and watch your kids play football or something like that. Do I think you suddenly switch and become a Queen's Park Rangers fan or something? No, I don't think that happens. What makes us... He's basically asking if everything's changed, what gives us our identity. It may just be us as fans. We may just give ourselves the identity. That's why it's important that we're not at each other's throats as well, by the way.
I think also this is only a temporary situation. You're in a temporary situation. I'm in a temporary situation. If you're listening and watching this, you're also in a temporary situation, because eventually, for example, Gonzo's children won't know different. So this will be West Ham. This badge will be West Ham to them. This stadium will be West Ham to them. Mark Noble will be a legend to them, and so on and so on. So the point is, it's only us that's going through this change. The generations coming up behind us won't know any different. They won't know what we're all getting angry about, because actually this is what they're used to. They're used to failure. They're used to one scout of the club. They're getting used to all this, so it just changes a little bit. But I seen someone on social media the other day say, is it easy for the young generation to fall in love with West Ham? And I thought that was a fantastic question, because it makes you think a little bit. Because when you grew up, everyone watching this will know, when you grew up and you got taken to Upton Park or whatever, it was easy to fall in love with West Ham just like that. And you do think, is it easy for a kid now to fall in love with West Ham as it was easy for us as children to fall in love with West Ham? How do you find out? I don't know, really. But it's an interesting question. It really is. I know, I can tell you're thinking it's interesting because you're thinking about it now. Craig at WHU140 says, would you take not signing any players in the summer to sort out the club staff, training facilities, director of football, full backroom staff and scouts and a world-class training facility?
Oh, 100%. Are you talking about complete infrastructure change with a philosophy going forward? Something the club has not had a direction, a focus. You can see by the scattergun way that we've had so many different types of managers playing different types of football, blah, 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 blah. Yes, I would absolutely take that. 100%. I could get something you could get your teeth into, something you could get behind, something you could support, a vision. That'd be lovely to have a vision.
I think I would as well, because those will then help and benefit the players you've currently got. You can get away with a summer and not spending if you can then maximise the potential of those players' abilities and such like. And the best way to do that is through, like you said, infrastructure. Plus the scouting facilities would then mean that the following summer you're really going to reap the rewards of that. Ideally, you're going to bring in players for half the price of what they would usually cost and so on like that. Alan asked another one. He says it's not a question for the show, but he's replied to the tweet asking for a question for the show. He says, when's the first mug of tea and how will this differ? For those who don't know, there's a Patreon thing. We're doing a mug of tea, which is basically the same. It'll be a lot more laid back, a bit more Geo and Gonzo in it rather than just West Ham, but I've also got a topic I really want to discuss, so I'm keeping it for that one, to be honest with you. So when we're doing that, tomorrow night, maybe record it tomorrow night.
Whatever night we're not doing.
Yeah, we'll record it tomorrow
preview.
night, and then we'll do the preview on Friday. We'll record it tomorrow night. So people asking what the team will look like in the Championship. We'll do that a bit more. Do you know something? Let's just move on to the live chat. I'm not prepared enough tonight as I usually am. Well, John Bill, I suppose. I'll go to live chat in a sec while you answer this one. Why do we send good players out on loan when they could help us with relegation?
I think it feeds back into what was just being said about philosophy and about vision. I think if you've got a director of football and you've got a manager, and every manager that you select plays the same way, then the players invariably that bring up through the youth team will play in that same way. So you just know there'll be a path to them in the first team. There might be certain players under Pellegrini have no chance in the first team. David Moyes comes in, he might view it differently. I also think because there's no director of football, there's no foresight, because David Sullivan's doing almost every job in there. I think that when people come in and they say, well, you know, Grady Diangana as well, okay, we'll lose Grady Diangana. David Sullivan goes to David Moyes. I'm completely fabricating it. I'm making this conversation up. This conversation didn't actually happen. All right, speak about my imagination. Got to cover yourself, Gia. Right. David Sullivan goes up to David Moyes and says, Diangana, are you going to use him? Do you want to recall him? David Moyes says, not so sure, don't know, like to see how things play out. David Sullivan thinks, okay, well, if you're not too sure, West Brom offered us $3 million as a loan fee for the rest of the season, so I'm going to go and take that if you don't mind. I wouldn't be surprised if it just happens like that. And I just think with a balance of a loan fee, you probably think ain't worth keeping them around.
I think Moyes would have also said, P.S. winning is what I do. I think he would have just put it in there. Just to remind David Sullivan, just for the fun.
It is a fantastic winning record, Gio.
He's now our worst ever manager in terms of win ratio in our history, from the day this club was formed until today. Anyway, Mike says, is there a God?
Hey?
Mike, is there a God?
Crikey. I'm not very religious, Mike, it has to be said. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I'm the wrong man to ask. I don't know what's going on, mate. I don't know what's going on.
I think there is. He's there. It's my God. Mark, no, bloody hell, it's moved. It's moving up too quick. Calm it down.
Yeah, it does.
Michael says, if you were in a pub and it got a bit tasty, which player would you least want alongside you for the fight?
Arthur Masuaku.
Why is that? You don't take it very long.
I just think you know what? I think
it's
like you say about the pitch. I think he'd be terrible at the start of the fight, a little bit looking okay, maybe a bit quick, maybe a bit skillful in the middle of the fight, and then terrible at the end. I don't know. He just does. Anyway, it doesn't matter. The point is he's got no fight. It just doesn't seem to have any fight in him. No snarl. I don't have Zabaleta next year. That's what you want. He might be a bit slow. He won't care. Zabaleta, not a problem. Zabaleta, Ogbonna and Declan Rice.
Yeah, I think.
Then I'd probably leave them to it, Geo, and go out and grab something away.
I don't know who. Jack Wilshere, I wouldn't really like him. He's not going to do you much, is he?
Oh.
Yeah, he might. Exactly. I don't. I think I'd like Snodgrass next to me. To be honest with you, I think he'd be a bit of a menace. I think he'd.
I'd tell a joke. Have them laughing. Say quickly, escape. They're laughing.
Hang on a minute. Sorry to interrupt this cup of tea, but in the background I have Spurs v Southampton, and Danny Ings has just scored to put Saints 2-1 up in the FA Cup at the Spurs place. Danny Ings scored again. How do I apply for that scout at West Ham again?
But how much do you value wages? Because like you said, the flag waver was a volunteer.
I would do it voluntary, to be honest with you, as long as I can do the analytical stuff. I don't want to go watch people. I like the numbers part. If I could just do that. Someone asked a really good question, which is, if we stay up, which two players will we have to thank? There's one obvious one.
Declan Rice, obviously.
Antonio.
Well, all right, yeah, Antonio and Declan Rice. Yeah, I mean, I'd maybe said to the video today, Antonio may well only play 10 or so games more for West Ham in his career. Well, enjoy him while he's around.
I thought I would have said Antonio and Fabianski, but Rice is someone you've got. Those three, you've got to pick two of those three, really, don't you? There's no one else.
Well, yeah, I mean, I would still pick Antonio and Declan Rice because they're the ones that everybody is going to want instantly. Fabianski, a very, very good keeper. But to be fair, getting towards the end of his career as well, his wages might be a little bit prohibitive for some, and what he can, offer. He's also starting to get injuries as well now, Fabianski. So mind you, that's Antonio. I think Antonio and Declan Rice would be. I think we'd have zero chance of getting them. Not only would we of keeping them, not only would we lose them, we'd lose them early as well.
James Gunn set us up nicely here. I was going to discuss this, then I wasn't. But James Gunn's given us the in, so we can sort of touch on it a little bit. We'll discuss it more in another video. James Gunn says the world's most unreliable source, Indy Kalia. You know that guy on Twitter? He's got like hundreds of thousands of followers, but he's crap.
No.
Pretends to be in the know, but he knows nothing. He says that Bin Salman from Saudi Arabia and Red Bull are interested in West Ham. What do you think of this rumour? Now, this is quite funny, actually, because he's taken a couple of shots and got them wrong, isn't he?
Yeah, but he's shooting at the right. He's shooting at the right time.
He's going in the right direction at the right time. Yeah. He's going after the wrong people.
Yeah. I don't know what to. There may be feelers out. There may be feelers. You got the wrong feelers. You got the wrong trainers. Maybe there. We believe that that there are feelers out. I don't know what more you can say really about it. We just don't know anything concrete, but it was. I think the owners are open.
Well, okay. Let's put it this way. Me and Gonzo speak to different people. We move in different circles in the West Ham world. If that makes sense.
I mix with good-looking people, successful people, funny people.
Name one person you speak to that fills into that category.
I don't know. I've probably insulted everybody then, but I don't know. I'm only joking. Sorry. Yeah.
But no, the thing is, we move in different circles, but actually we both heard about this from different people, and the people that we heard it from don't even know. Well, they might know each other, but they don't speak either. And that was that there's stuff been happening in the background very recently in the last week or so about a potential sale of West Ham United. I don't know what you can or can't put out, because I don't want to put anything out that can jeopardise or anything. I don't want to get anyone's hopes up. It's very early stages. Let's make that clear. It's nothing concrete. It's nothing. But I would.
Can we say that there's been an initial meeting? Can we say that?
Well, you've said it now, haven't you? It's too late now. If I say no, what are you going to say? This is a live stream. There's nothing.
Unlist video.
Allegedly. Let's chuck that in, because with everything that's been going on in this last week, I can't be arsed dealing with a legal pursuit or something. So allegedly, there's been an initial meeting.
We believe there might have been a meeting
somewhere
overseas.
Hot.
A sauna, any old Turkish bath,
something like that, and about the future of West Ham. I think that's all we can say really now, isn't it?
But what I would say is our position at the moment is, I mean, clearly this thing was planned, 2, 3, 4 weeks ago, or whatever. I say clearly, our position we find ourselves in is seriously hindering anything like that happening. We're not meant to be where we are, and this is pure speculation. I would suggest the hurried deals at the end of the window were because whoever's buying the club, and this is me, I've not heard this, but whoever's buying the club, wants to buy the club, is probably saying, "Oi, you can't be in that position. You better spend some money and get yourself out of this rubbish now." So I wouldn't be surprised if that's plays some part, but that's just my guess.
Jonathan says, if relegation is the answer, what is the question?
The question is, how do you spend even more money on train fares next season?
I think the question is...
The answer's relegation.
I think the question is, what is David Moyes bringing? Jazza says, which part of a roast chicken do you like eating the most?
Oh, the thigh. The thigh and the leg. Hey, all this breast business, right?
Oh, no, it's
dry. It's dry, it's bland, it's not succulent. I like the succulence. The succulence of a thigh and a leg. Now, that can be made into a little meme.
It can be a bit slimier, though, can't it? I prefer the breast.
It's not slimy. It's got more fat. Fat is tasty. That's why lamb is tasty, because it's got fat in it. There's no fat in the breast. That's the problem.
I love a good breast.
What should do? I'm more leg.
Nah, definitely.
And thigh.
Definitely a bit of breast.
And thigh.
Get that.
I like a wing. Why do they call them buffalo wings? The buffaloes do not have wings at all. And why? And why is it still the vegan ones called buffalo wings? Number one, it's not chicken. Number two, the chicken is not buffalo. There's just no meat in it at all. The other day, I had the vegan sausage roll at Greg's. It was literally the only thing left at Greg's.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah, absolutely. I didn't want a donut I love Belgian buns. I'm mad for Belgian buns. I don't want anything sweet anyway. Sausage roll. The only thing was there. I said, I'll have a sausage roll, please. And he said, okay, that's the vegan one. He looked at me, said, that is the vegan one. Oh, crikey, I want that savoury. I said, all right, how bad can it be? And he said, people tend to quite like it.
How bad?
So I bought and ate the vegan sausage roll, right? Thought, actually, it's all right. Now, you've got to remember, I don't really like sausage rolls anyway, but actually, it didn't taste unlike a sausage roll. The pasty was a bit dry, because it didn't have butter in it, I guess, but it was all right. So the next time I went in Greg's, I thought, the old vegan. Let's have a little go on that. I saw vegan steak slice. I thought, I'll have a go. I'll give it. I'll try anything once. Well, not anything, obviously.
Wow.
Yeah.
I better cancel that birthday present I got for you then.
Anyway, so I said, I'll have the vegan steak slice, please. Absolutely disgusting, vile, absolutely foul.
I'm kind of glad.
One of the most horrible things I've ever eaten.
I'm kind of glad, because I don't know why. Maybe it's just pettiness. Meat I wouldn't have even tried that vegan sausage roll. No.
I was really hungry. And I'd had too much sweet stuff. It was the only savoury thing in there, and it was all right. Honestly, it was all right. You know, I'm quite open-minded about it.
What do you if everything's there? What do you normally get from Greg's?
The traditional Cornish pasty, and if not, I'll have the steak slice.
Oh, it's a sausage, bean, and cheese melt for me.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. I've got to be worried. I'm just worried because I've got to work in people's houses a lot. I wouldn't want to be farting all day.
There's about 3 beans, to be fair. You don't get much.
Well, don't take much to set me off, my old son, I can assure you.
The last question was from Mark. What do you think our attendances will be should we get relegated?
28,000.
Do you think so?
If we're lucky.
I think it'll be more than that. I think they'll just chuck tickets at Newham. I think the community will just be getting a lot of free tickets, because in the contract it is 100,000 tickets per season, isn't it? Now, we don't really adhere to that. But I think if we went to the Championship, I think we would. I think there'd be free season tickets given out, basically, to residents of Newham. Which, to be honest with you, I'm not against.
No.
You've got to get people in, and they'll spend money. It's better. I think it's better to have people. Better have a full stadium for half price than it is to have half a stadium paying full price. That makes sense. You get double the amount of people in, then they spend more money inside the concourse, don't they? In theory, what are you confused at?
I'm not confused. I'm thinking it through.
Must be your age.
What? Hey,
you can't mock me of all people for.
Who said? How's this microphone work?
That's all. That could be deemed offensive to me.
What?
I'm hard of hearing. You can't mock lack of hearing.
Do you know what? You're full credit to how subtle your hearing aid is. I completely forgot.
It's all right.
You can't even see it.
It doesn't bother me, as you know. But
I'm partially sighted.
But anyway, is there anything else you'd like to chuck out there before we disappear?
No, I can't think of any more food stories, really. I do like talking about food, though.
Well, there's one more question. We'll squeeze it in before Gonzo has to go and get back to his... I don't know if it's birthday cake or he's getting some thighs for his birthday, but...
I am on a promise. The
last...
The cake has been eaten. The cake... And I went upstairs, right? I went upstairs to have a shower before this... and then get my cup of tea, which I then bring down to the man cave. And when I went upstairs, there was one slice of cake left. I thought, I'll go down and I'll eat that. I said, was that last slice of cake? And my daughter said, oh.
Did you get a bit of cake before?
Did you want? She said, did you want my birthday cake? Did you want it? She said.
Yeah, but did you have a piece of cake before the last piece?
I have had a piece of cake. I've had a piece of cake.
Well, what's the problem then? You've already had a bit.
Because it's my cake. It's my birthday.
But you've already had a bit. You were making on there as if you had no cake, that there was one piece left and you wanted it. You were insinuating.
But it's my birthday. I should have more cake than anybody else.
I don't disagree with that.
Right. Well, I mean, don't do a vote on it because you'd lose. If it's my birthday, whoever's birthday it is deserves more cake than anybody else. It's pure logic, surely.
Anyway, there's no time for more questions. Gonzo's got to go get his promise. Thank you very much to everybody.
My vegan sausage roll.
I think that's what she's getting. But anyway, thank you for joining us on this cup of tea. If you are a patron, thank you. We appreciate it. Hopefully you're going to see a few things coming. Mugs. Oh, I nearly forgot. Oh, mugs. Look at this. This is our first ever piece of merchandise ever. We've had this planned for quite a while. It's taken us quite a good time to get a good supplier. Hope you like it.
They take a long time to paint individually.
It does. And I've spent all evening packaging up the pre-sales, actually, which are going out in the next couple of days. I've got a cardboard cut as well, which is bloody stingy, might I add. So someone that's receiving a mug in the next couple of days, I've sacrificed myself.
Blood on the box.
There's no blood on the box. Let me make that.
Yeah, blood on the box.
It's your one.
Blood on the box.
It's your one.
It's all right.
If you want one, email us hammerschat@gmail.com. Anyway, me and Gonzo will be back for the patrons tomorrow night. We'll be back on this channel on Friday night with a preview for the Man City game. Christ almighty. We're gonna we were quick.
That's on Sunday. It's on Sunday, isn't it?
Yes, yes, yes.
As I'm going to me thing, and I.
Yeah, you're going to your sausage fest.
I am. Sausage and cider festival.
No, just sausage. Enjoy your sausage fest.
Yeah, that's the meat, the full meat on that one, by the way. The full meat.
Yeah. Anyway, take care. See you in a bit, Gonzo.
Catch you later.